Hey guys, welcome back. So, happy Monday. Now, I'm just getting used to this new phone that I have. And I don't know, it looks weird. Like the picture kind of looks different than what it did on my old phone. But I got a screen protector, so I don't know if that has something to do with it or if it's like the type of phone that I purchased. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. So, shout out to Jamba Juice actually for this wonderful drink. It's called Greens and Ginger. It's pretty good. One thing I don't like about it is the fact that it's kind of watery, but I can taste the ginger, so I like it. But here we go. So hopefully it's not too much sun trying to seep in. Y'all see the sun behind me trying to peek in. Look at the sun. Oh gosh, y'all. Let's see. The glare from the sun. Let's see. Let's try this. Okay. That still doesn't work. Sorry, y'all. Oh gosh. Okay, let's go with this. So, I actually was inspired to do this video from a comment that I received on one of my videos. Actually, it's an older video. It's actually several months old. It was a video that I made on could I be Dr. Umar Johnson's wife? Now, this is, like I said, an older video, right? And there was a comment made on the video where this guy was like, you might have a shot if you lose your Valley Girl act or something like that, right? Like, he basically accused me of acting like a Valley Girl, and I'm like, a Valley Girl acting? I was like, I don't act, but it's interesting how people make comments because it reflects, I think, a lot about them and how they perceive you, essentially. So he saw me as acting like a Valley Girl or talking like a Valley, because I'm like, you can't be referring to how I act because you guys can't see any acting. You know, you hear me talking. I talk in my videos. I don't act. So I kind of assumed that he was talking about the way I talk. And I'm like, talking like a Valley Girl. How does a Valley Girl talk, by the way? Like, is it like this? Like, oh my gosh, like, totally, dude. Did you hear what Jonathan said? Is that how a Valley Girl talks? I don't know. But I thought it was quite funny, and it made me think about just different situations in my life. Different things in my life, different things that people have said, you know, in my life about me as a person. So it's not like I'm not used to people making these assumptions about me or projections, you know, on me about how they see me. I'm used to it, right? And as a matter of fact, like, I can think back when I was younger, my sister, my older sister, who was 3 years older than me. I actually have 5 sisters, but one of my sisters, who was 3 years older than me, she said that she always said that I'm weird. She was like, you just weird, child. And she was like, you were adopted. She told me I was adopted as a child. And I knew she was joking, but I just found it interesting that she would say that I am adopted, given the fact that we share the same mother, but we don't have the same father. So granted, when I came along, because being that she's 3 years older than me, when I came along, she and my mother and father had already kind of established a family, so to speak. And then I came along, you know, 3 years after her, after she was born. She was born before my mom and dad met my dad, so actually I came along maybe a little bit later, I guess. But 3 years after her. Nonetheless, they had already had a family, and then I came along, right? And so she would always make this joke to say, you were adopted, you know. And I knew, like I said, I knew she was joking. I knew, you know, she's telling a joke, but just by her saying that, I'm just like, interesting, because my dad and my mom, like, those are my parents, you know. But my dad is not her biological father, even though he helped raise her. He's not her biological father. So I always found that to be interesting, and just her perception of me, considering, like, she says that I'm weird. I'm like, okay, I'm weird. I'm weird. I'll take that. I'm different. I just say I'm different, right? It's just like, yeah, you don't belong in our family because you different. You're an adopted child. So it's like, not like, I'm saying that to say that it's not like I'm not used to people saying that I'm different or I'm weird or act funny, so to speak, and whatever, right? So that was my earliest memory of somebody saying something to that effect. And I was young. I was a little kid, little girl. Okay, so fast forward. I'm trying to think. Fast forward. Because back when I think about, I actually posted a link on my page to, excuse me guys, I can't, let me see, can I read you guys' comments because I'm like the glare. I get that constantly from my family. Merle, you say you get that constantly, that you're weird or that you act, what, like white or whatever? What do you get from your family? That you act weird? So yeah, so that made me think about when I read the comment today that the guy left on my video. The video is entitled, "Could I Be Dr. Umar Johnson's Wife?" And I guess he picked up how I was acting or talking in the video that made him think that I'm acting like a valley girl, I'm not being myself, or I don't know. And so it made me think about one of my earlier videos. Like, this had to have been probably my first or second video I made. Act white and weird. Okay. Yeah, it had to have been my, like one of my first or second videos that I made on my YouTube channel. And I think I started my YouTube channel back in 2011. And I made a video entitled, I'm trying to remember the exact title. Dealing with hate, criticism, and bullying, or something like that, right? Hate, criticism, and bullying. You guys just Google it. Hate, criticism, and bullying, and type in the name of my YouTube handle, Danny's World. DANI''S World, Danny's World, and just type in the title, Hate, Criticism, and Bullying. Okay? And so it made me think of that video because I'm like, okay, I went back and I even listened to the way I talk in that video. I'm like, it's not really much has changed when you think about, okay, my videos now, how I talk now in my YouTube videos, and how I talk. And by the way, my YouTube videos and my Facebook videos are the same. Like, I usually go live on Facebook and then I upload my videos to YouTube. I download from Facebook and upload them to YouTube. So when I say YouTube videos, I'm talking about Facebook Live videos. One and the same. And so it made me think about, like I said, one of my first videos. And in the video, I'm talking about just dealing with hate and criticism. And I'm listening to the way I'm talking in that video. I'm like, really not much has changed. Like, I still talk, like, I feel like I still sound the same. Now, granted, I'm from the South, so I did notice how, like, yeah, maybe my accent has gone. Like, I dropped my accent. But that's, I think, only because I moved from Atlanta to New York. And when I got to New York, y'all, they was picking on the way I talk in New York. They was like, they could barely understand what I'm saying. Believe it or not, like, people from around this country or whatever, like, people from the South, we have a certain way that we talk. A lot of times we don't use complete sentences or correct grammar, so to speak. And we just have our own language. And so when I went to New York, people were like, what? I had to, like, repeat myself because they didn't know what I was saying. They could not make out what I was saying. So I had to kind of drop my accent, not necessarily sound like a New Yorker, but just drop it so that my voice is neutral. You know? And then even when I attempt to drop it, like, they can still pick up on my accent and be like, oh, you sound country. And they would make jokes and I would laugh. I mean, I didn't take offense to it. Yeah, Mika says so true. It's like, you're saying so true in terms of how New Yorkers see the way Southerners talk. Because, yeah, I've gotten that. Like, they can't, like, what? What the hell you just say? They can't understand, like, what the hell? And I think the same applies not just in living in New York, but even living out here. You know, sometimes my Southern accent comes out. And people be like, what? So I have to kind of dial it back a little bit. I'm like, okay, let me drop my Southern accent and try to talk neutral so people can understand me. It's simply for the purpose of people being able to understand me. It ain't that, oh, I'm trying to act this way or trying to act that way. No, I love my blackness, you know. But I want to speak to the fact that I think the comment that the guy made actually really reveals more about him than it does about me, because it speaks to the idea that I guess there's this perception of how a black woman should sound, you know, given that I do have darker skin, I have these dreads, and so I think in people's mind, they think that I'm supposed to sound a certain way. I don't know. Like, and then there's a stereotype about how a black woman is, right? And black women, these are stereotypes. Black women are ghetto and they ratchet and they, you know, talk a certain way. So when I open my mouth, I think people are surprised and they're like, they're confused. I've kind of gotten that look like, wow, you know, like people will speak to me. I'm walking down the street because I take public transportation. People will say, you know, hello to now. I'll be like, hi. And I'm just so used, that's how I greet people. I say hi. You know, I don't, how y'all expect me to be? You know, and even in the context of school, right? I'm taking this group therapy class. And in the group therapy class is a part of the class, you say, yes, people think I'm Jamaican. And then when I speak, they like, oh, wait. Because you say they think that you're Jamaican. Interesting. What is your ethnicity, Merle? What's your ethnic background? Stereotype is all, yeah, they always stereotyping us, you know? And so even, like I said, I'm taking this group therapy class. You guys know I'm in a PhD program in clinical psychology. And I'm taking this group therapy class. And like the first half of the class is like, oh, B, y'all, B trying to get my drink. I'm not allergic to bees, but get away. Get away, B. So the first half of the group therapy class is didactic, so it's more educational. He's teaching us. And then the second half is experiential, where you said they expect hood. Yeah, exactly. You'll see they do. They expect us to be hood. And I'm like, I have a hood side to me. You say you're African American, but my love and style of dress, they assume I'm Jamaican. Yeah. And when I was living in New York City, oh my gosh, I made several posts when I was living in New York City how people this is a stereotype, how people would see me, right? So actually when I first moved to New York City, I lived in Manhattan. It's amazing though that when I counsel people in New York City, they assume that I live in Brooklyn automatically. Like, because I'm black, I have to live in Brooklyn, right? I didn't live in Brooklyn. I've worked in Brooklyn, you know, as a therapist, but never lived in Brooklyn. Now, when I finish my PhD program, I have plans on moving back to Brooklyn and buying one of those brownstones. I'm going to own one of those brownstones. Count on that for sure. But yeah, people definitely assume that I lived in Brooklyn. And not only that, but they assume I have kids and yeah, I'm a baby mama, you know. And then I tell them I don't have kids, like people shocked. So, okay, back to what I was saying, like in my group therapy class, the second half is experiential. So we have to basically participate in this kind of like round table kind of group process where it kind of mimics a real group therapy session, so to speak. So we can see what it's like to be on the other end of the table, to be in a group therapy process. Right? And so the expectation is that we be ourselves, you know, we don't try to fake it or anything. We just come and be who we are, right? And so my professor and even other group members, but mainly my professor, I'm speaking to my professor, like he said, like he kind of challenged me and was like, oh, I don't think that you're being authentic, you know, or I don't, you know, you're not being emotional, you're lacking emotionality or something like that. And I'm just like, really? He pretty much said that he don't think that I'm passionate about the group. And it just amazes me how people perceive black people sometimes. They just they miss us. They totally miss us. And I believe that his perception of me is much like other people's perception of how a black person should be. They expect black people to be, I don't know, emotional or, you know, overly reactive to certain things. So get all emotionally riled up, you know, when certain comments are made that, you know, trigger certain kinds of reactions. They expect us to be like, what you say? Nah. Like, that is not me. My emotions are intact. If anything, I'm very well disciplined. I have no choice. I've been like this all my life. Like my mom, she made me disciplined. My mom did not play the fucking radio. You understand? Like when I say my household that I grew up in was pretty militant, that's just how it was. So I'm very much like this. And I guess he has this expectation I'm just supposed to be all over the place and, you know? And that's like the norm. He was like, oh, well, emotions are the currency in this group. As if like, okay, I ain't really banking nothing in the group because I'm not showing my emotions or expressing myself. And I'm just like, they have this stereotype, I guess, that African Americans, we just emotional people, just like they have a stereotype about women. Women are emotional. I'm just like, not every woman, let alone every African American, is emotional. You know, or has their emotions all over the place, you know, or is angry, and they expect us to be that way. So he's making this analysis about me, and I'm like, dude, you saying really more about yourself than you are about me. I know who the hell I am, you know, and that's just how I am. I'm pretty disciplined. Like, how else you want me to be? What is it? Like, he has this thing, like, that I guess I'm not being authentic. And I'm like, okay, I'm curious to see how this is going to impact my grade, because he established in the beginning of the semester that he has 3 rules, and one of the rules is like just to be honest and be yourself. And so as if like I'm being something that I'm not, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck do y'all want from me? Like, what? How? And then another thing, I'm like, you missing the fact that the school is a professional setting. So it's kind of weird to say, okay, you expect us to be, I guess, more casual, you know, or more like laid back, when we are in a school setting. We're expected to have a professional attitude, a professional demeanor. So it's really a contradiction, because that is a policy in the program. That trumps everything. That they say that. It's spelled out very clearly to be respectful and have a professional attitude. But meanwhile, he's like, no, forget about all of that. Just come in and just be who you are as a person, like you on the street, you know? I'm like, okay, I definitely have been making every effort to try. But I guess even still, I guess I've been this way for so long, like the so-called professional, that's just who I am in many different settings. Even when I'm walking down the street and, like I say, people greet me, I'm like, hi, you know, how you doing? I'm talking to them very, like, matter-of-factly, very professional. That's just, I'm so used to that, you know? So I'm like, I don't understand how you want me to be. I guess he want me to be ratchet. That's what he want. I think in his mind, he see a dark-skinned woman with dreads, and so he expected me to be ratchet. To come in there, and now I would be acting. If I was to come in there and so-called act ratchet or whatever, or get into these conflicts with my colleagues, you know, based on things that they say, that I guess to try to trigger me, then that would probably make him happy. But I'm like, that's not who I am at my core. I know who I am at my core, and that's not me. And that reminds me, like, even when I was living in Atlanta, and I've shared this with you guys, that I went through some difficult times, financial times, where there was a period where I was homeless. And there goes the sun. Okay, let me try to bring this up. Try to take away the glare. So there was a period of time when I was in Atlanta, and I was, you know, struggling financially. I also was in a relationship, too. And, you know, like I said, I was homeless, and we were panhandling, you know, trying to get money just to get food. And I remember, like, I would be out there asking people for money, and the way that people looked at me, you can kind of read people's face, right? Read people's behavior, and they kind of looked at me like, she lying. Like, there's no way she can be homeless just the way I look, because I had a very, I don't know, upstanding demeanor about myself. Like, I guess I didn't look like I was homeless, you know? But my partner, on the other hand, you know, he had dress. He kind of looked gangster. He got like a gangster appeal, you know, thuggish type thing. So he seemed more believable. So I would tell him, hey, go out there, you know, and ask them for $2, right? Or whatever they can give. And he would go out there and he would get it. They would give it to him, you know, but they wouldn't give it to me. Like, he would get it more. He would collect more money than I did. We both was out there trying to collect money, but he would collect more money than I did, you know? Because I guess he was more believable, especially the way he was dressed. Because he's one of those, like, I'm very, very laid back too, but he was like even more laid back than me, you know? So just the way he was dressed was, I guess he looked like he was homeless with, you know, a raggedy t-shirt on or some busted shoes, because he worked. This man, you know, he worked, tried to work hard, you know, he was wearing like the clothes that he had worked in. But that just reminds me of that situation, you know. And I'm trying to think. It was like another situation too. that came up. But I'm like, oh yeah, I was going to say, in terms of the way I talk, right? That's what I was going to say. In terms of the way I talk, like, I was like, I even, I guess, call myself trying to explain myself in the way I talk, right? Because I'm just like, what? But I say, what I think I noticed about myself is that my pitch changes depending on who I'm talking to and what I'm talking about. So in some of my videos, you guys will see that my pitch goes up and down. My accent, my southern accent, it comes and goes. And so in some of my videos, you'll see my pitch where I'm kind of have more of a high pitch and I'm talking like a little girl and oh my gosh. And in his mind, the person who commented on my video today, who inspired me to do this video, in his mind, it's a Valley Girl voice. That's what he call it. You know, and I guess because he knows I live in LA, so that's how they refer to girls who talk and act, I guess, ditzy. I don't know. Or whatever, right? But anywhere else, I guess they would refer to it as the white girl voice, so to speak. And so I'm like, yeah, there are times that I talk like that. And in the video that he commented on about the video, the topic was, could I be Dr. Umar Johnson's wife? I'm talking about a crush, like my crush on this man that I admire, and I still do admire. I no longer necessarily have a crush on him, but I have much respect for him and his work that he's doing in the black community. And so I'm talking about my crush. It's like, of course, my voice is gonna change, you know, and I get like the little girly voice. That's how I sound when I'm talking about like a person that I like a lot, like a man I like a lot, you know, or I'm talking about my love relationship. Like I get like kind of girly inside. It's something that happens naturally with me. You know, and I noticed like even when I talk to my dad, which I may let you guys see, I don't know, I may let you guys in on a conversation and me talking to my dad. And my dad, you know, I have much respect for him. And like when I'm talking to my dad, I get like this, hey daddy, how you doing? Like the little innocent, soft girl voice, you know. It happens naturally. I don't even have to think about it. It's not like I'm like, oh, let me act. Let me put on my little girl voice and try to act. No, it's something that naturally happens. You know, my dad can call me right now and I pick up the phone. Hey daddy, my voice is going to change than when I'm talking to you guys like now. You know, and my voice is much different when I'm talking to my mom. My mom is very stern, very strict, so I kind of be like, kind of matter of fact way. I think I talk to my mom the same way I'm talking now. Like, hey mom, what's up? You know, how you doing? You know, my day was good. You know, I'm in a PhD program. But then I notice sometimes even when I talk to my mom, my voice, the pitch, it changes. You know, when I'm talking about politics and something serious, then this is how I talk. Very serious and matter of fact. And I think maybe my bass, you hear more bass come in my voice, you know. But overall, y'all, this is me. It's like, take it or leave it. You don't like it? Oh, well, take it or leave it. This is who I am. And I was just kind of having a conversation with one of my colleagues. We were talking about like friendship and how it's easier to make friends with, you know, people who are like you, which would be other African Americans, because we don't have to go and explain ourselves. Like we automatically understand each other and we automatically get it. And we use less words when we talk, you know. It's one of the like cultural differences. And I was saying how I was thinking like, yeah, when I'm around black people, you know, not necessarily like professionals, you know, or the elite, but just black people, you know what I'm saying, like from the hood, then I think I still talk the same, but I may use less words, you know. So I'll be like, yeah, I feel you, you know. I kind of use more slang talk, so to speak. So, yeah, the way I talk, it may change according to the setting or who I'm talking to, and that's natural. And I'm pretty sure the way you guys talk changes according to the setting and who you're talking to. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. But I just laugh. I find it quite interesting how people make these assumptions. Like, now I'm a Valley girl. Now I'm acting like a Valley girl. Whatever, if you say so. As if a black woman can't articulate herself and use proper English, so to speak. Like, it's like I said, it speaks. His comment, what he said, it really revealed more about himself than it did about me. He called himself trying to put me out, I guess. And I left his comment up. You know, I ain't deleted. So I'm like, no, I want people to see this. I want people to see the assumption that he made, but it's almost as if, you know, black women, we can't be articulate, we can't be educated, we can't speak in proper English or use, you know, complete sentences when we speak. Interesting. And it's assumed that if we have a high pitch, then we're talking right. Because we have a higher pitch. It's like, no. I ain't the only freaking black woman that use a little girly voice when she's talking about her crush. Like, we all do it. We be like, oh, he's so cute, girl. Yeah, you know. And when we talking about something else, you know, we may have a deeper voice. It just all depends. So, anyway, I enjoyed talking to you guys about this, but I have to go because I'm actually getting ready to go to my practicum site, and I am getting ready to start writing the second section of my dissertation lit review. It's coming along quite well, by the way, but I'm interested now. I'm interested in to see, like, when I move back to New York, to see how they gonna say I sound, because I'm pretty sure, like, people always notice it's like the culture shock, you know, when you go to a different place, different culture. People pick up on certain things, you know, about the way you talk, the way you act, the way you move, you know. So I'm interested to see how they say I sound when I move back from LA to New York. Because the first time I moved to New York, I moved from Atlanta to New York, and they were like, they could barely, they were like, what? What you just said? Because I was just talking myself, you know. But then to make things easier and to adapt to my environment, which I was living in, so that they can understand me and I have to keep repeating myself, I would just kind of lose the southern drawl, you know, and speak clearly, because that's how northerners speak. Whether you are in New York, you know, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, like up in that area, people kind of speak more proper English, you know. So in order for them to understand you, like, you have to speak proper English. Otherwise they're gonna be like, what you say? You know, and I got that a lot. And then also got the jokes, you sound country. Even when I would lose the southern drawl, people would like, you sound country. Get off my freaking thing. But even, it's like the thing, because I haven't been, it's been 2015, I think, was the last time I visited Jacksonville, Florida, my hometown, and St. Augustine, Florida, too, which is where my mom lives. My dad lives in Jacksonville. My mom lives in St. Augustine. And it's going to be interesting going back, because I know they're going to be like, damn, you know, you sound different. It's like, what the hell do you expect, you know? I don't know if I'll ever be able to get my southern accent back. I'm pretty sure I will, you know, when I move back. If I move back, which I don't really have plans of moving back. I mean, if I visit and, let's say, hang out and kind of spend some time there, then it probably will come back. I can imagine it would come back. But who knows? I can imagine they're gonna be like, she thinks she old. They already think that. I'm pretty sure they already have that perception. Even before I go back, they're gonna be like, child, you changed. But my sister, the people who really know me, know this child always been like this. My sister would tell you, like, the one that's closest to me in age, that 3 years older than me, she'd tell you, like, child, her ass crazy. She weird as hell. And she always been like that. And this was way before I got exposed to white people. She would tell you that. You understand? Because I remember she said it all the time. Like, girl, you is weird. You different. You know, that's what she said. I was adopted as a child as a joke, because I was just completely different. I used to be like the kid always in my room, door closed, reading books. And my dad, he didn't like it when I was living with him when I was a teenager. This was after him and my mom separated when I was 12. I went to go live with my mom for 4 years, and I came back at the age of 16 to live with my dad for those last 2 years of my high school. And I used to always be in the room with my door closed. My dad hated it. He was like, if you don't open this damn door, I'm going to take the door off the hinges. Like, he threatened to do that. He never did it. But I'm like, Dad, you can't do that. You cannot violate my privacy like that. I was one of those kind of teenagers. Like, you can't tell me what to do. I love myself, by the way, but yeah. And so I've always been the kind of kid, like, it's in my room, you know, and the people like, what's she doing in her room? And most of the time I'll just be in there reading. You know, I'm a very, like, I kind of like keep to myself, more of an introvert. I can be extroverted, you know, if the situation calls for it, but I'm naturally, I think I'm an introvert, you know, and that's just who I am. And for so some people it comes off as, oh, she weird, something wrong with her. Child boo, child boo. I know y'all like, I still know the language in the South. Child boo, whatever. But let me go. That's another thing before I end this. It made me think about the whole thing about being weird. And people don't expect a black woman with dreads to be into BDSM. But that's another thing that makes me weird. I'm into BDSM. Some people don't understand, like, child, how can you like pain? Or how can you like being in bondage and chains? And child, that's me. I'm like, if y'all don't get used to it and accept me for who I am, that's going to be y'all struggle. That's something y'all got to deal with. I ain't got to deal with that. Because I'm good. I'm comfortable in my own skin. It's other people around me that have encounters with me and have this perception of who they think I am based on how I look. And then when they start to see more about who I am, they just like, they don't know where to place me. They don't. They have no idea like where I fit in, where to place me. I'm like, that's the thing. You can't place me nowhere. Just place me as Danielle. That's how she's just Danielle. That's just who she is. And my sister has accepted that. Certain people in my family have accepted that. And it's time for y'all to accept it. Just accept it, child. I ain't gonna change. This is who I am. But hey, I can say this over and over again. It sounds like I'm repeating myself. So let me go ahead and end this video. Catch you guys in the next one, and thank you guys for watching. I really did enjoy this conversation, and it's good to see that I'm not alone in it, but I gotta go for real. All right, catch you guys later. Bye.